Hey everybody, Major Dream here. And thank you and welcome to your NFT course. NFTs, we've gone over it, non-fungible tokens, and the first thing for most of you, since this is really just the basic course, is we need to talk about how do NFTs come about. So as first, we need to talk about the blockchain. Now, what is blockchain? Well, simply, it's a chain of blocks. It's a chain of blocks. Chain of blocks that were created based off of really a way to sort of make it's like a notary, because they were made initially to like timestamp something to be done, so that way you couldn't back over it and redo it or so. So that was the original initiation of the blockchain, really as a timestamp to proof work and to make sure that processes happen. But in 2009, our guy Shiba Nakamura, our Bitcoin creator, decided to take that technology of blockchain and create Bitcoin as we know it. Because once we realized that something can be made, put on an open source ledger, and avoided tampering, I was like, okay, so wheels started turning. And in 2009, Shiba Nakamura made Bitcoin. Now, you still may wonder, how is this thing secure? Well, it's secure because it is held on a distributed ledger. What does that mean, distributed ledger? Now, we're moving into the world of decentralization. That means everything is not in one place. Everything is now moved all around to a group of nodes, individuals, and servers that are distributed all over the earth. So that way, no one person has any type of control over the information, the money, or anything. What this allows, it allows for groups of people to have to work in consensus, so that they can move on to the next. So now, okay. So we talk about it as a distributed ledger. All right, so distributed ledger simply means that the people that make up this virtual network happens to be all over the place. Okay? Now, what makes up a block in a blockchain? Okay, there's three things that make up the block that makes it make sense. So, in the case of Bitcoin and a Bitcoin blockchain, in the block it has its data. So, who is the money coming from? Where is the money going? What is the account? The basic data. Then it has a hash. Now, what a hash is a very unique key, a set of numbers. It's sort of like a fingerprint. And that hash corresponds with what is in that block. So that is always going to be a unique point in time. Now, on the other side, like I said, it's made up with 3 points. So you have the data that's in the block, a hash of the block, and the hash of the previous block. So you have to look at all of these as connectors over the chain. What this means is that for these chains to connect, this data needs to be on par with the second block. So the first block in these three is normally called the Genesis block. So the Genesis block is where everything starts, and then everything moves after that. So for this chain to connect, there's a complicated algorithm that each block has to solve so that each block can be connected. So once from the Genesis block, you have the information, you have your thumbprint, which is your hashtag, and you have the hash of the previous block. Now it can be linked as a chain. The bigger these chains get, the more time and energy it takes to seal a block and to make a block. Now, you may wonder, okay, so how is this still secure? Can I just go in and change the information on the block? Well, yeah, you could, but because one, it takes about 10 minutes to solve one of the equation and to make a block, you would have to then go back and back and back and change every bit of information in every block before it in order to be where you started. See, no block can be completed without it being congruent with the block before. So even if you put in new information, and that's the beauty about why it's on a decentralized open ledger, is because you can do what you want. You can break in. Nobody's saying that you can't, but we will be able to see you. And you need to get everybody, because it's decentralized and because there are legitimate people out there securing this platform. It's almost virtually incorruptible because it would take too much time. And I know there's a bunch of supercomputers that are looking to move fast and can possibly do something like this, but by that time, we'll be on something else. But for right now, this is the basics of the blockchain. Again, it's a series of blocks with information, hash prints, and other information of the encrypted style that will allow you to take your digital information and move it across the world seamlessly, without banks, without Swift codes, without middlemen. It's just you. So if you want to get into this NFT world, you first need to understand what the blockchain is, because this is what it operates on. Up until now, it's mostly been in DeFi. Right now, it's here for you, for the artist. So, blockchain. So, that's your first. So, this is the basics that you need to know so then we can move on to the next. So, I'll see you in your next class.